Tay. Have you ever heard a story that sent a shiver down your spine? Not because it was scary, but because it felt real. Today, I want to share one of those stories. It's a tale that's been passed down, a powerful reminder of faith, arrogance, and the humbling nature of the universe. It's about a man named Julian, who lived in a small town nestled in the rolling hills. He was known for his sharp wit and even sharper tongue. Julian was a craftsman, brilliant with his hands, but his heart was cynical. He saw faith as a crutch for the weak and often made a public show of his disbelief. The townspeople, mostly devout and simple-living folks, would just shake their heads and pray for him. Julian's favorite target was the old church at the center of town. He'd stand outside during services, making loud, sarcastic remarks about the hymns and the sermons. He'd mock the faithful as they left, asking them if their sky friend had solved all their problems yet. His masterpiece, he thought, was a series of wooden gargoyles he carved. But instead of the traditional grotesque faces, he carved them to look like caricatures of the town's most respected elders and the pastor, all with exaggerated, pious expressions. He planned to secretly mount them on the church bell tower, a final, grand gesture of his contempt. One sweltering summer afternoon, as a storm gathered on the horizon, Julian decided it was the perfect time. The sky was turning a bruised purple, and the wind was picking up. He thought the dramatic weather would add to his spectacle. With his sack of gargoyles, he began the long, winding climb up the rickety wooden staircase inside the ancient bell tower. The air grew thick and heavy, and with each step, the wind howled louder through the slats in the tower, sounding almost like a mournful cry. He just chuckled, thinking it was nature's applause for his audacity. As he reached the belfry, the storm broke in its full fury. Rain lashed against the stone, and thunder cracked so loud it seemed to shake the very foundations of the tower. Julian was undeterred. He pulled out the first gargoyle. A cruel depiction of the Gentoo face pastrum began to secure it to the ledge. He was laughing, a triumphant, mocking laugh that was swallowed by the roar of the wind. "Here you go, Pastor," he shouted into the storm. "A view worthy of your sermons. See your flock from on high." He felt a surge of power, a feeling of being above it all, literally and figuratively. And then it happened. A bolt of lightning, brighter than anything he had ever seen, struck the very tip of the church steeple, just feet above his head. The sound was deafening, an explosive crack that vibrated through his entire body. The ancient stone of the steeple shattered, and a massive chunk of it broke free. It tumbled down, striking the bell right beside him. The great bronze bell, silent for years except on Sundays, let out a deafening, discordant clang as it was torn from its rings. Time seemed to slow down. Julian was thrown back by the force, his bag of gargoyles scattering across the belfry floor. The bell, now free, crashed through the wooden floor of the belfry, plunging into the darkness below. Julian scrambled away from the gaping hole, his heart hammering against his ribs. The triumphant laughter was gone, replaced by a raw, primal fear. He was trapped, high above the town, in a storm of biblical proportions, in the very place he had come to desecrate. The wind no longer sounded like applause. It sounded like a warning. The rain felt not like a dramatic backdrop, but like an overwhelming force trying to wash him away. He huddled in a corner, trembling, as the storm raged on for what felt like an eternity. The pride and arrogance that had fueled him just moments before had evaporated, leaving behind a hollow, terrified man. He looked at the scattered wooden faces of his gargoyles, their mocking smiles now seeming foolish and pathetic in the dim, flashing light. In that moment, high in the broken bell tower, Julian wasn't a cynic or a mocker. He was just a small, fragile man, face to face with a power far greater and more terrifying than he had ever imagined. When the storm finally subsided and dawn broke, the townspeople emerged to find the devastating damage. The steeple was shattered, and there was a huge hole in the church roof where the bell had crashed through, landing right in front of the altar. It had miraculously missed every single pew. And then they saw him. Julian, descending the tower stairs, drenched and pale, his face a mask of shock. He didn't say a word. He walked past the stunned crowd, went straight to his workshop, and began to work. But he wasn't carving gargoyles anymore. For 4 weeks, he worked tirelessly, day and night. The townspeople would walk by and hear the sound of his tools, but no one dared to disturb him. When he was finally finished, he revealed what he had made. It was a new altar for the church, carved from the finest oak, intricate and beautiful, filled with images not of mockery, but of humility and grace. And on the front, in an elegant script, he had carved a single verse. It was from Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Julian never spoke of what happened in the tower that night. He didn't need to. His life became his testimony. He became a quiet, humble man, his hands now used to restore and create beauty within the church he once scorned. He repaired the pews, polished the brass, and his finest work, the new altar, stood as a permanent, silent sermon. The story of Julian isn't just about a man who angered God and was punished. If you look deeper, it's a story about grace. He was given a second chance. He was humbled, not destroyed. He was shown the immense power of the universe, not to crush him, but to wake him up. It teaches us that mockery comes from a place of pride, a belief that we are the sole masters of our own universe. But faith, true faith, comes from a place of humility. Understanding that we are part of something infinitely larger than ourselves. Julian learned that night that you don't challenge the storm, you find shelter. You don't mock the mountain. You respect its majesty. And you don't mock God, not because of fear of punishment, but out of a profound, humbling respect for the divine mystery that surrounds us all. His story serves as a powerful, emotional reminder that what we send out into the world, whether it's love, kindness, or mockery and contempt, eventually finds its way back to us. We truly do reap what we sow. Thank you for listening to this story with me today. If it touched you in any way, please consider sharing it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What did this story mean to you? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that make you think and feel. Until next time, take care and be well.